Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram 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 Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna
Hare.
Hare Hare, Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Ram
Ram,
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare, Ram Hare
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Hare
Ram Ram Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare, Ram
Hare
Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Send the
Krishna
video
Hare
to
Hare,
the
Ram
body,
Hare
call me,
Ram Hare Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Ram Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram
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 Ram,
Ram
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 Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Hare Hare, Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare, Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare, Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Hare Hare,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
वाञ्छा
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
कल्पतरुभ्यश्च
Hare Ram Ram
कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च
Hare Krishna, Hare
पतितानां
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
पावनेभ्यो
Ram
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। हरे कृष्णा, दिस इज Shama Supriya Devi Dasi from Houston, welcoming all the devotees to our Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. I thank all the devotees for joining the session and giving your very sweet association this morning. And please forgive me for stopping your sincere and ecstatic chanting. Now we will move to our next part of a session, that is our Srila Prabhupada summary sessions. So can I know who are all joining this morning?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Sri Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. Yashamati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yeshamati Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji, for joining the sessions and giving a sweet association. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Humble obeisances to Srila Prabhupada. This is Preeti Vilas.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Vilasni Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the sessions and giving your wonderful association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to everybody and all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gauranga and Gurudev. This is Hari Radha from Fairfax, Virginia, Washington. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Sri Hari Radha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji, for joining the sessions and giving your wonderful association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shyam Supriya Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devi Dasi from Texas.
Hare Krishna, Vinta Gandharvika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji, for joining the sessions and giving you a very sweet association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Go ahead, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisance. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Guru and Gaurang, and all glories to all the Assembly devotees sisters joining from Texas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shashidhar Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Prabhu, for joining the sessions and giving a wonderful association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, I did Shyam Supriya Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Gopinath ki jai, Srila Prabhupada Amruta ki jai, Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji, for joining the sessions and giving your very sweet association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shyama Supriya Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Shyamagauri Devi Dasi from Shyamagauri.
Hare Krishna, Shyamagauri Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji, for joining the sessions and giving your very sweet associations and eagerly waiting for your summary, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, anybody on the call would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Sita Priti Devidasi from Pune.
Hare Krishna, Sita Priti Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji, for joining the sessions and giving your very wonderful association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and symbol devotees. This is Gary in Montana.
Hare Krishna, Gary Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining the sessions and giving your a wonderful association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. This is Chinmayi Vrajapriya Devi Dasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Chinmayi Vrajapriya Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji, for joining the sessions and giving your very sweet association this morning. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mataji, shall we start recording?
Sure, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. I welcome all the devotees to our Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call of our Srila Prabhupada's summary session. So, as part of our summary, today we have with us Her Grace Shyamagauri Mataji to give chapter summary of 61. So, before handing the call to Mataji, I would like to read the quote of Srila Prabhupada for today, that is January 27. So it says like this, quote says, something has dropped in the water in the river. You cannot see the things dropped within the water by agitating the water. Just stand still for some time. As soon as the water is settled up, you will see the things as they are. So, as soon as our enthusiasm is agitated, it is better to sit down in any temple suitable and chant Hare Krishna. There is no question of being disappointed. After all, we commit so many mistakes. That is human nature. To err is human. That is not fault, but try to rectify with cool head. Calcutta, January 27, 1973. Very fantastic quote. Yeah, thank you so much, Shyamagauri Mataji, for giving your precious time and association and coming forward to give us the chapter summary of 61. So, Mataji, I would now hand over the call to you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Shyama Supriya Mataji, and thank you very much for all the organizers for giving me the opportunity today to speak. And please bless me that I would speak relevant to the topic and give the proper summary of the chapter. Even though I am not good at English and I'm not good at speaking, but I try my best as a service of Srila Prabhupada and all of our Guru. Thank you very much. Let's pray. Start with Mangalacharam. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yotapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sachivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamritamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubheva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I would like to offer my obeisances to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale Srimate Radhana Swami Niti Namini. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharini Nirvisheshishini Paschatya Deshatarini. So let me share the screen. Today's topic is Prabhupada Lilamrta and chapter. Can you see the screen?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So today's topic is Srila Prabhupada Lilamrta, chapter 61, 108 rose bushes. So why it is 108 rose bushes is like it started back in October 20th, 1968. Srila Prabhupada returned to Los Angeles from Santa Fe and found his followers in their new location on the Hollywood Boulevard. It was like, tourist station and block from near for the Chinese theater, the new temple and former beauty. It was the old beauty parlor before, and that was the 6-story building, and there was a some space, and there was like 3 levels. The picture is not so good, but it shows like that, and there was like some 7 hotel street and like that. So when Prabhupada was sitting in his room, all the devotees, they gather around and they sit in his room, and then Prabhupada had ordered that in every center disciples should perform the kirtan, and that order was sending the devotees in New York, Boston, San Francisco, and different parts of LA. In LA, the devotees were going out of 12 hours for chanting on Hollywood Street. And Prabhupada had simply asked that they go out and chant, but some enthusiastic devotees like Tamal Krishna Prabhu and Vishnu Chana Prabhu, they took that order as the fullest extent. And one night when Prabhupada came out in the car and parked in front of Kirtan party watching, Kirtan party, what he was watching and chanting and the slide is not moving. Okay, so the Kirtan party was chanting and dancing, and Srila Prabhupada was coming, and Prabhupada was feeling so happy looking at them, and Vishnu Jana Prabhu, who had become, expert in playing Mridanga and leading Kirtan, and all the devotees, they were wearing, nice saffron dhotis. The boys were wearing saffron dhotis, and girls were wearing saffron saris, and they were dancing in their Swami steps, and hundreds of tourists walked along Hollywood Street and wine and going to the theaters and wax museum and CD bars and that the nightclubs. And although sometimes the people make fun of them, they laugh and they chatter, and they more often astonish the, and at least for the moment they stop that delighted. But to Prabhupada sitting quietly in the car watching the devotees, and the chanting was the benefit. He was saying the chanting is the benediction for the fallen souls who are on the street, on the Hollywood Boulevard, and whoever heard the chanting, they were really fortunate. This was like, power of the holy name. And the youthful disciples on the street energetically singing to Vishnu Chana's beat, to Vishnu Chana Prabhu's beat, and were also aware of this. Seeing Srila Prabhupada's car and knowing that he was watching, then their enthusiasm increased more. And Srila Prabhupada was saying that this Kirtan party is happening only because of the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaja's blessings. He was giving all the credit to his Guru Maharaj. Like we say, we are sitting here and having the class, and only because of this Srila Prabhupada's blessings. And so on the Hollywood residents of the Hollywood Boulevard, there was public chanting and already made them the sensation, and the Lord Jagannath deity has arrived. Lord Jagannath deities arrived, and in that apartment they were cooking. And what happened when in America, the houses are like the apartments are like kind of air condition is connected, and when they cook some spices and dal and everything, the smell was going everywhere. And these devotees, they were chanting and dancing and making so much noise. So the owner said, if you leave this place today, I will return your money $450. The condition he put. And hearing that, all the devotees, they put all their stuff out in the street, sidewalk. Even they put stove, furniture, rugs, pots, pans, soap, split peas, and even the Lord Jagannath was on the street, and they had nowhere to go. And while the women and children waited for hours, and all the paraphernalia was on the street, and some other devotees managed to rent some warehouse to put all the furniture, and gradually the devotees relocated in various places. And elderly English lady, who was nice lady, she gave space to stay for a few devotees, and some brahmacharis found the small house, and they were staying in that area. And some women, they found some apartment. And Dayananda Prabhu, who had a job, he had his own apartment, and he took few married couples to his place and found an apartment for Srila Prabhupada and Lord Jagannath on the Hayward Street. Thus the devotees of the Lord of the Los Angeles temple became scattered. So despite the odd circumstances, they still came together every day, chanting either on the Hollywood Street Boulevard or on some other Los Angeles area. And Prabhupada began visiting the brahmacharis at their house, where he had regular Monday, Wednesday, and Friday classes. And he would lead kirtan, often masterful play and mridanga, and his playing would make everyone dance. So Nandarani Mataji was saying that Nandarani Mataji was saying, Srila Prabhupada, some Hollywood vegetarian society is there, so do they to give class to them? But Prabhupada said, do they want to hear about Bhagavad Gita? And she said, no, they only want to hear about vegetarian. And Prabhupada said, oh, then tell them that Swamiji doesn't know anything about being vegetarian. Tell them I don't know anything. But if they want to learn about Bhagavad Gita, I know something. So Nandarani Mataji called the vegetarian society and asked them if they want to hear about Bhagavad Gita, and they said no. And Srila Prabhupada said, tell them that I am not interested in anything talking about mundane topics. Even the pigeons are vegetarian, so we don't want to become pigeons. So we only care about the if we can offer it to Krishna. We are like a Krishnatarian. We are always want to worship, give everything to Krishna. So like that, weeks went by and no one was able to find any new temple. The meetings in brahmachari ashrams were like that, and the neighbors complained about the kirtans and mridanga playing is going on. But often when the devotees were chanting out in downtown, they would meet someone who would allow them to use the garage for an evening, thus providing the opportunity for all the devotees together with Prabhupada. So Srimati Mataji said, Tamala Krishna Prabhu made to a woman on Sankirtana who offered her garage for Srila Prabhupada to lecture in, and it was in notice neighborhood, nice neighborhood, and it was so clean, double car garage, and we even clean it more, and we put all the mridangas and pictures on the wall, and we made the altar on one side and Vasasan on one side for the Prabhupada, and it was cold out, but we kept the garage door closed, and the so that we can put the heater inside, and the neighbors, devotee, they will not get disturbed because of that. And Jai Gopala waited out for devotee to to inform devotee for that Prabhupada is coming. As soon as he put up the conch shell, all the devotees started kirtan and in the big welcoming for Srila Prabhupada. They all went So like that they used to do kirtan, and Srila Prabhupada used to sit on Vasasan and give the lecture, and they even invite the neighborhood guests, and they all come take prasadam, and they went to the home with magazine prasadam and new experience to relate their friends. The Srila Prabhupada's preaching was going on. And one night while speaking at garage meeting, Prabhupada described explicitly Krishna's abode. So where houses are made of with chintamani stone, and trees are like, desired trees, the inhabitants there, or as well as the land and the tree, all have spiritual forms and full of the bliss and knowledge, and there everyone serves Krishna and Krishna reciprocates. So after that, one another night, Prabhupada spoke about the song, uh, mm, Hari Hari Vikone. So I would like to sing that song. Should I sing, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead, Mataji. Yes,
Yeah.
please go ahead, Mataji.
So, yeah. You can see the song, right?
Yes, Mataji, but we are seeing from third stanza. Yeah, now from starting.
Hari Hari Vipale Hari Hari Vipale Manusha Radha Krishna Nada Jani Janias Premanda Sankirtana Tera Sankirtana Rati Jasi Kemi Kama Tera Teni Kama Samsara Shin Vibhashi Niya Kare Samsara Shin Vibhashi Niya if you love it, not it, Sachi Sutta Oilo Sei Brajendra Sachi Sutta Oilo Sei Balonita Balonita Lina Nina Jata Chilo Hari Rama Usta Jata Chilo Usta Sakshi Jata Tara Sakshi Jata Sita Shiva Sutra Vrishabha Sutra Sita Gurunam Sama Nasa Nalo Rapa Nasa Nantino Ranga Pa Toma Yenchi Ama Cheyam Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama. Sorry, I should have seen that at the beginning, but I would like to read the translation. Anybody wants to volunteer for the translation? Ready?
Yes,
Can I read, Mataji?
Yes.
From the top, from number 1.
Yes, number 1.
O Lord Hari, I have spent my life uselessly, having obtained a human birth and having not worship, rather in Krishna I have knowingly drunk poison. Shall I continue?
Yes, Mataji.
To the treasure of divine love in Gokula, Vrindavan has descended as the congregational chanting of Lord Hari holy names. Why did my attraction for that chanting never come about? Day and night my heart burns from the fire of the poison of the worldliness, and I have not taken the means to relive it. 3. Lord Krishna, who is the son of the king of Vraj, became the son of Sachi. Lord Chaitanya and Balram became Nitai. The holy name delivered all those souls who were lowly and wretched. The 2 sinners, Jagai and Magai, are evidence of this. 4. O Lord Krishna, son of Nanda, accompanied by the daughter of Vishwanu, please be merciful to me now. Narottama Das says, O Lord, please do not push me away from your reddish lotus feet, for who is my beloved except for you? Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji.
So let's go back to our presentation. So here. Okay. So Srila Prabhupada is saying that Narottam Das Thakur is in this song. He is saying that he is lamenting. He is thinking he for his disqualifications and begging for Krishna for mercy. And he's saying, instead of worshipping Radha and Krishna, what I did all the mundane things, what we do, all the sense gratification, simply wasted life in sense gratification. So Prabhupada would often speak about Chaitanya, Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan moment of chanting the holy names and for the like Kali Yuga, the chanting of how good the chanting of the holy name for Kali Yuga. So the devotees always ask questions. Madhu Desha Prabhu is always ask questions. The other brahmacharis, they also can how ask question, and Prabhupada would answer all these their questions. So, but rarely would Prabhupada complain that they don't have temple, they don't have place to live. They are living in different apartments. Somehow they are managing, and but still Prabhupada did not complain anything. Rather, he would say, never mind that we have no place, but we have no temple. But Krishna has provided this garage for you. We accept it. So although homeless in Los Angeles, the devotees' basic ingredients for devotional life remain intact. So it was not uncommon by Indian standard. Prabhupada gave the example for the Indian, how they live sometimes. We don't know, we are coming from good families, but some poor people in India, this what they do, they have the 20 people having their belongings in one room, and they go out on the street, they sleep, and whatever they need, they come in the room and they take it and they again go out. So like that. But in America, we cannot even think about that, sleeping on the road and doing everything. But still, this garage meeting would attract new people, and this is how the preaching was going on. So on November 28, Prabhupada wrote a letter to and so far as it goes in Los Angeles, everything is going very nicely with the Sankirtan party, and soon we are expected to have new temple location. So that's what means. Prabhupada was saying, not saying anything, that not complaining anything, but back of his mind, it was like, we will have to have temple. So when Prabhupada made the devotees in the evening, he would ask them, so how many magazines did you distribute, and how much money you have collected? And by their good result, Prabhupada will feel pleasure. And but one night when they came to visit him in his apartment, Prabhupada's mood was very different and he seemed to intolerant. And he was like saying, he was like, in the angry mood. He was telling them, so how long do you expect me to sit in this house? And he demanded to Dayananda Prabhu, and then he returned immediately. He was saying something before he could say something. He turned to Tamal Krishna Prabhu, and what are you doing? The deities are in my apartment, and you all are here. What are you doing? And he tell to Naranarayan Prabhu, what I have done today to find the temple. And well, Prabhupada, I was, and before even his, his answer comes, Prabhupada said, and you, what did you do for the finding temples? So he pinned down each and every devotee who was in the room, and what he was very angry that time, and he said, I want a temple. Los Angeles must have temple. There must be a place to worship deities. And so that night there was no lecture. And 3 days later, the devotees found new temple, and that was like an old church, and that was like a 3-story building. One single-story building, and that was like a Japanese Baptist church congregation, and that was located in La Cienega Boulevard in the middle of Los Angeles, in the neighborhood of brick buildings, stores, factories, and businesses. The wooden church stood on the little patch of grass, and the rent was high, $500 per month, more than Prabhupada had paid for the piece of land property. But although Prabhupada had acted non-committal when when the landlord had shown him the place, afterwards he told the devotees he wanted the place and they should get it. So Dayananda Prabhu questioned the rent is high. But Prabhupada said it's okay. And we waited for so long, and here was a good place we should get it. So for Prabhupada, this new temple mark is the beginning of the new era for Krishna consciousness. When he wrote Krishna Nanda Swami on December 8, and yeah, you will be glad. So he scolded his disciples first, but now look what he is saying, that he is writing letter to everybody. He is saying, you will be glad to know that we have signed a lease for the new temple in Los Angeles Center, and it is a very large fine place, and now there is a program being organized here to set up everything very nicely and invite many new people to participate in our program. Krishna has been very kind to grant us such facilities, and now there are many efforts to be made to use it nicely. The rent is very high, but if we can maintain this establishment, it will surely have great future process. So devotees in New York had also acquired new building, moving from 26 Second Avenue to the large storefront to block up on Second Avenue. So I do not know how is your temple there, Prabhupada, to Brahmananda Prabhu in New York, and I have heard that it is very nice, but I think that the temple here is probably nicer. So the place, Prabhupada liked it very much. And he wrote even to Krishna Das Prabhu in Germany. And he was glorifying the devotees like anything. He said, you will be glad to learn that we are having very good success in improving our temples here, and have acquired the excellent large chapel suitable living quarters and kirtan the temple. So so everybody, the devotees moved to the new place. On moving on to the temple, the devotees called praise conference, and they could they cooked a feast for 100 people, rented chairs, but only one reporter came, and the reporter was only one reporter came, and the reporter was he said, you put the conference on the wrong time, and that's why nobody came. But Prabhupada did not care. Prabhupada spoke then to encourage assembled devotees to take the feast themselves in Krishna consciousness. There is never be any failure. If people come to the program, we preach, and if they don't come, we take prasad. And when a reporter from the Cosmic Star came, Prabhupada talked frankly with him about the Boga Swamis and avatars from India. A reporter from Los Angeles Times interviewed Prabhupada on whereas he thought man could land on the moon. Prabhupada told the reporter that no doubt that the Krishna consciousness movement has nothing to do with going on the moon. The reporter had his own angle, and he printed a article in the December 28 issue of the Los Angeles Times. Swami says people are living on moon. So if Australians land on moon, they probably will be opposed by highly intelligent beings who have been there from 10,000 years. So Swami says, Swami A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami says, spiritual leader of attention getting Indian cult, what has grown from few followers to an half years ago, group of initiates, 10 US and Canadian cities. So 72 years, some newspapers say 72 years Guru interview Friday at the Los Angeles Temple of the International Society of Krishna Consciousness. And they believe, first of all, that there is only a remote chance that man could land on the moon planet, and claiming his statements were based on Vedic literature, specifically the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada said present spacesuit would have to be improved. So matter of the body to land there, you must have a specific body. With this body, you cannot go to the moon. You have to change it scientifically, spiritually, or otherwise. And granting that an astronaut spacesuit might provide the right body, the Swami nevertheless maintained that the present spacesuit used by the astronauts are not good. So the Bhagavad Gita, another holy book, describes lower, middle, and upper planetary systems, and the Earth is the middle and has being on average intelligence. The moon is the upper category of the contains highly intelligent being, and mainly because they have been living on there for so many years. With this body, neither can you nor can you interfere in their business. So, but if astronauts were successful in landing on moon, he said he expect the moon being to oppose the earthling. Citing an analogy, the Srimad Bhagavatam, he said, oh, one king wanted to enter the heavenly kingdom and was opposed by the demigods. And who is that king? That king is Ravana. So the Guru also indicated that any advanced civilization would not take kindly to dumb visitors from another planet. Would the astronaut or be able to see the moonbeams? Oh, again, they would be almost invisible. The moon, the people on the moon, and some means their thing is they are subtle, and for which would not be perceived by the earth residents. And the Swami saw no difficulty arising in the Krishna consciousness movement in astronauts make a successful landing and return with nothing onto nothing is happening. So sometimes the Hare Krishna movement, because of the is called the importance of the chant using word Hare Krishna and Ram, and he draws his early growth from the recent interest in transcendental meditation. So the devotees made a plan for the big Sunday festival, and the festival is like, the puppet show and theater and performance. And Bhavananda Prabhu is a new devotee and former New York textile designer, decorated the temple, painted the temple nicely in bright color, pink, purple, reds, blue, and greens, and bright yellow. From their kirtans on the street, the Sankirtan devotees began regularly bringing guests to visit the temple, and the devotees planned planted 108 rose bushes in front of the temple on the request of Srila Prabhupada. And within a short time, an altar was ready, and devotee brought Lord Jagannath to the temple. So now Srila Prabhupada said, we will begin full-scale deity worship here. And he asked to some ladies that ISKCON should have some standard of offering prasadam, offering bhoga to the deities and offering artis. As the Los Angeles devotee community grew and proper in its new setting, Prabhupada gradually relinquished the management to his leading disciples, and even outside speaking engagement, which were often late distribute Prabhupada's normal schedule. And he sent his disciple for his day. He wanted to spend his time in writing books and writing books in the apartment, and he would go to the temple 3 nights a week and to the festival on Sundays, but otherwise he would be writing books. Only his servants, the Malakrishna Prabhu, with his daily reports on the Sankirtana party, would see him in the apartment. So Prabhupada was more focused on writing books. On December 1968, Prabhupada was producing his books at double in normal rate. He was writing 2 Krishna books, the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Nectar of Devotion, and both he considered like essentials, foundation of Krishna consciousness. Krishna was a translation and commentary in 10 like a commentary of 10 canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and all the Krishna started waiting. So Prabhupada was waiting for colorful illustration, and he turned to his 2-3 disciples and challenged them that as far as they would paint, he would write. So there was a transcendental competition between Prabhupada and his disciples, that who is writing fast and who is painting picture fast. So he said, I will require some artists who can paint pictures from the Bhagavatam, and he will give the hint to the artist, and 2 or 3 pictures should be painted per week. These pictures will be used for the book, the new Krishna book, and he will be as soon as he gets the assistant to paint the 10 canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So there are 2 divisions of the Krishna book. They are like the Krishna in Vrindavana, and like first 40 pages of Krishna in Vrindavana, and next 50 chapters, like 40 chapters of Krishna in Vrindavana and 50 chapters of Krishna in Dwarka. So a book must like have the first volume of 40 chapters and second volume of 50 chapters. So Prabhupada described each illustration whatever he wants, and for the first picture, he wanted, like, pregnant Devaki sitting in the palace, and all the demigods were surrounding her. And for the other picture, he wanted the different background, and the Devaki was sitting in the different place, and Vasudeva is there, and like we see here, the Krishna is the baby, and he showed the four-handed form of Vishnu, and Vasudeva and Devaki, they are bowing down to Krishna. And the other pictures, he said he wanted, like, Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai in Vrindavan, and like that he was explaining to his devotees, and they were making the paintings out of that. So Krishna book is the summary study of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and Prabhupada wanted the same pictures to be printed for the Srimad Bhagavatam also. So he was focusing on that pictures. So why Prabhupada wanted her to have the Krishna book, because Krishna is the most important part of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and Srimad Bhagavatam has 18,000 verses. So Prabhupada was not sure that he will be able to write all these 18,000 verses. So better to have Krishna, pastimes of Krishna, so devotees can read that. And that's why Srila Prabhupada was so much in hurry to print the Krishna book. The purpose of preparing a Krishna book is, like, primarily to induce to people understand Krishna Katha. So Prabhupada was there, by hearing that Krishna Katha, they will become free from material bondage. And Vasudeva, the compiler of Srimad Bhagavatam, and Shukadeva Goswami is the original speaker of the Srimad Bhagavatam, has recommended Krishna Katha hearing and speaking about Krishna to clear the heart of all illusion, and the transcendental pastime of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, were so powerful that simply by hearing and reading and recommending them, a devotee would be transformed to the spiritual world. Prabhupada's normal work hours were in early morning beginning, and he will start from 1 a.m. and he daily used this time for writing Krishna book. But now he added second intensive writing period in the afternoon and began another book is called Summary Nectar of Devotion, a summary study of Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So this work contained the complete science of Bhakti Yoga, and as taught by Lord Chaitanya to Rupa Goswami 5,500 years ago, Prabhupada intended the Nectar of Devotion. It is like a law book for the members of Krishna consciousness movement. If one wanted to know the philosophical basis of Bhakti Yoga, how to practice devotional service, what is the stage of devotional service, or what is the goal, he could find the answer by reading the Nectar of Devotion. So, especially for devotees, the Nectar of Devotion help solidify the Krishna consciousness movement in Western countries where Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu was virtually unheard of. In the introduction to the Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada invoked auspiciousness upon this work. Let his lordship's grace be on us so that there may not be any hindrance in the execution of this the duty of writing the nectar of devotion impelled by his divine grace. His Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada worked from originally Sanskrit text to spoke into dictation machine. And despite his age of 73, Srila Prabhupada would often speak himself. He often called himself old man while eating, or because he said, I cannot eat like a young man. I cannot, when the climate is cold, I cannot bear this cold. But Prabhupada now was writing uh, books day and night, and these literary labors began. So, sorry about that. So he was telling that back in 1940s in India, he started writing Back to Godhead magazine, and actually before that it was just a paper, and now he had more facilities for working, modern equipment, dictating machine, translating and printing, personal assistants he had, and he has tend to his meals and laundry, and energetic trained disciples conducting missionary affairs of his movement. Material things Rupa Goswami had straight should never be rejected when they can be in the service of Krishna. Prabhupada applied this principle to his own situation and noted in one of the early chapter of the Nectar of Devotion. Anything that can be utilized in advancing Krishna consciousness and devotional service can be used. For instance, we are using many machines of the advancement of our present Krishna consciousness movement. Machines like typewriter, dictaphones, tape recorder, microphones, and airplanes. Sometimes people ask us, why are you utilizing material products if you condemn the advancements of modern civilization? But actually, we do not condemn. We simply ask people to do whatever they are doing in Krishna consciousness. This is the same principle on which in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna advised Arjuna to utilize his fighting ability in devotional service. Similarly, we are utilizing these machines for Krishna service. With such a sentiment of Krishna, for Krishna or Krishna consciousness, we can accept everything. If the typewriter can be utilized to advancing our Krishna consciousness movement, we must accept it. Similarly, the dictaphones or the other machines. So day after day, Prabhupada went deeply into Vaishnava literature, rendering the Sanskrit poetry of Vyasadeva and the realizations of Rupa Goswami into modern English. Although externally his life may have appeared less eventful, he felt full urgency and satisfaction that he was making his most important contribution to world, sitting in a simple room in a small Los Angeles suburb. He was presenting the foundation for the movement, and that could grow for thousands of years. He says the victory of Vedic enlightenment over the darkness of the age. Even Prabhupada's newest disciple understood that they should not disturb their spiritual master's concentration on his writing. He is really putting it out, and they were thrilled to hear the rare at which he was translating. So concerned about printing, he is coming a book. Prabhupada wrote Satswarup Maharaj in Boston. I am seriously compiling one book of Nectar of Devotion, about 400 pages. Therefore, I am a little slack in sending tapes of the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. As far as the new book, Krishna book, I will continue to send the tape, and in this way, Krishna book will be completed. And the Hamsaduta Prabhupada, I next wish to publish a new book entitled Nectar of Devotion. So if you can help this with these funds, and which be very appreciated. So Prabhupada was making arrangements for printing and publishing books, and he was writing devotees all over the world for his and then Prabhupada anticipated he had few years left, and he wanted to publish many books as possible. Krishna was imploring him to write 2 books simultaneously, but until the difficulty in scheduling the books for publication, Prabhupada became frustrated. Macmillan Company had recently finished printing 1,500 hardbound copies and 35,000 paperback copies of Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. Although Macmillan Company had appraised the original Gita manuscript more than 50%, it was nevertheless a victory for the Krishna consciousness movement. The first authorized Parampara edition of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the West. Although Macmillan Company would distribute Bhagavad Gita in bookstores, Prabhupada asked Brahmananda Prabhu to order 5,000 copies for the temple to sell. He suggested that Brahmananda Prabhu approach as many book reviewed as possible, telling them this book was badly needed in today's godless civilization. Try for selling these books. Prabhupada wrote to the devotees in London and all over the world. With this most basic book now available, Prabhupada instructed his students read at least 1 chapter per day and discuss in the class. If you can simply cram Bhagavad Gita, then you will surely become a very good preacher. An examination on Bhagavad Gita should be held, and Prabhupada said those students who pass would receive the title of Bhakti Shastri, and when more books were available, he would hold a further exams based on Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and teachings of Lord Chaitanya and the Nectar of Devotion. And those who pass these exam would receive the title of Bhakti Vedanta. And I want that all my spiritual sons and daughters will inherit this title of Bhakti Vedanta, so that the family transcendental diploma will continue through the generation. Those possessing the title of Bhakti Vedanta will be allowed to initiate disciples. So maybe by 1975, all my disciples will be allowed to initiate it and increase the number of generation. That is my programs. So we should not simply publish this book for the reading for outsider, but our student must be well versed in all all our books, so that we can be prepared to defeat all opposing parties in the matter of self-realization. So Prabhupada stated while his manuscript on Lord Chaitanya, which was to have been printed at the same time as the Gita, made with delayed in Japan. When the printers reported that the book would not be completed until next year, Prabhupada again thought of his own press, discussing his ideas with disciples, asking their options. And he could see their lack of expertise and lack of money. Another cause for concern was the backlog of unpublished Srimad Bhagavatam manuscripts, and Prabhupada considered Srimad Bhagavatam his primary work and his life's masterpiece. The lack of definite plans to publish it discouraged him and diminished his enthusiasm. He had vastly ambitious plans to flood the whole world with Krishna consciousness book, and he would be satisfied with nothing less. So one thing that I beg to bring you your notice about printing the books. In 1954, I left my home, and for 5 years I lived in Vanaprastha in Vrindavana, and there then 1959 I took sannyasa. Of course, even when I was a householder, I was publishing Back to Godhead since 1947. But then my spiritual master dictated that I should take writing books, which will be permanent affairs. So after my acceptance of sannyasa, I began working on Srimad Bhagavatam. And when the first canto was finished, with great difficulty, I published the first volume in 1962. And after leaving my home and after taking sannyasa and spending whatever cash money I had with me during the 5 years of my stay alone, practically in 1960s, I was penniless. Therefore, I had to quickly take the publication of the first volume, and after that, I got some money, just enough to pull on, and in this way published the second volume in 1963 and the third volume in 1965. Then I began to think to coming to USA, and somehow or the other I was brought here, and now since I have come, I have been unable to publish the fourth volume of the Srimad Bhagavatam. But with your help and assistance, since 1965, with this one book only has been published, and I do not know what is this Japanese company is doing. Anyway, I am very much anxious for getting my books published, and the manuscript which I presented have may be converted into 8 different books of the same size, and which I generally publish 400 pages, but I do not know how I will get this published. So Prabhupada was so much anxious of publishing his books. When Prabhupada decided to restrict his weekly temple visits to Sundays. For the devotees, Sunday became the high point of the week, and Sunday was the focal point of the devotees' preaching, because all week they would invite people to the weekly festival, and all week the Balakrishna Prabhu would consult with Prabhupada about the feast menu or the observance of various Vaishnava holidays. And Prabhupada also suggested plays and devotees could perform. And when Prabhupada would arrive on Sunday, everyone would be waiting for him outside the temple, and they would begin singing and dancing. And Prabhupada's call Buddha, as soon as he steps out of the car, devotees garland him, and beside the temple hall was a little room. Here Prabhupada talk about Krishna or these devotees and asked how they were doing. He was like a king among adoring subjects and father of a pure family, 60 sons and daughter. And the atmosphere of Sunday program was festive. More guests were coming than ever before. Any of Prabhupada's other temples, the devotees so enthusiastically invited new people, and gradually Sunday feast attendance like rose up to 200. Living in this little room, Prabhupada would enter the temple hall where he would lead the singing, and he accompanied by the devotee guests. On one such occasion during the Kirtan, Prabhupada began to dance, and he was dancing in a large circle room, moving slowly and majestically, and his arms were raised. Some devotees, they were sitting on the chair and watching Prabhupada, and so Prabhupada also looked at them and said, stand up and dance. And they stood up and started dancing, and Prabhupada was so happy. After the Kirtan, Prabhupada would sit and watch the devotees, and Prabhupada, the devotees do some play, and they do Vishnu Jana Prabhu do the puppet show, and then he joined the devotees for the Sunday feast. And then the Krishna Prabhu said, Srila Prabhupada would eat with the devotees in the temple room every feast. He would instruct us first to feed all the children. The children should be fed first, and then after we will take prasad, give him. And he Prabhupada personally take care of everybody, and Prabhu say, give him this and give him that and give him this more and give her that more. Like that he would take care of everybody. Shrilamrta said devotee would line up along the step and walk away Prabhupada's car, and Prabhupada would be like smiling, and all the devotees would bow down and then kneel, and he came by, he would put his hand to everybody's head. And when everybody is lined up, the first person in the line would go at the back of the line, because he wanted to have the Prabhupada's hand on his head. So like that, the game was going on there. And when Prabhupada left, so everybody said, oh, did you hear him? And did you see him? And did you hear to say this? And did you to say that? So everybody was so happy about Srila Prabhupada. And he would always talk about, they would always talk about him. And he was the center of everybody. As the representative of the Los Angeles devotee community, Tamala Krishna Prabhu visited Srila Prabhupada daily. Prabhupada was especially interested in Sankirtana party and the traveling chanting party. Prabhupada had requested Tamal Krishna Prabhu to form, had been holding kirtanas street on San Francisco and Seattle. Upon their arrival, Los Angeles, Prabhupada asked them to stay as a part of new on Los Angeles temple, and every day more than 30 devotees were going out in downtown distributing books, Back to Godhead magazine, chanting 8 hours a day, beside organizing daily Sankirtana. Tamal Krishna Prabhu also maintained relations with the police and city authorities, and that was the success of leading Los Angeles in ISKCON. In this new Sankirtan practice, and repeatedly Prabhupada stated that as the most important function of ISKCON, because Tamal Krishna Prabhu was Prabhupada's man for organizing the devotees. Prabhupada carefully trained him in managing. Sometimes Prabhupada would show Tamala Krishna Prabhu a letter he had received asking for his response. Tamala Krishna Prabhu would suggest a reply. Then Prabhupada would explain the particular answer this letter required. Prabhupada usually ate his lunch alone, but one day Tamal Krishna Prabhu was sitting there, and Tamal Krishna Prabhu was like, and he asked Prabhupada, how should we eat, Prabhupada, and which thing should we eat first? And Prabhupada said, in eating, there is no hard and fast rules. You can eat anything. Prabhupada just recommend him to eat as his fullest satisfaction. After eating and washing, Prabhupada said, now let's talk a little. And the Japanese, the printers in Japan, he explained that to agree, take contact with printing Back to Godhead, and on the condition of ISKCON ordering minimum 20,000 magazines a month. They are first-class printers, Prabhupada said. So you just give me a guarantee that you take 5,000 magazines a month in Los Angeles, and then I will arrange for San Francisco, New York, and London to each take 5,000. You just give me this guarantee. And Tamal Krishna Prabhu immediately promised Srila Prabhupada to distribute 5,000 magazines a month. It was an important moment. So Prabhupada said, now I can take the initiative to print such a big order of, otherwise I could have not done. So Prabhupada was explaining that Prabhupada was explaining about the cosmic, the spiritual world, how the Krishna Loka is on the top, and the other planetary systems is there, and the other Narayana Loka is there, and the residence of the four-handed Narayana form is there, and the effulgence Brahman is there, and the Swargaloka is there, and Mahavishnu, who is living in the graduation, animating innumerable material universes from his breathing, from the his holy body. Within each universe, Mahavishnu then further expands as a Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who generates the planets within the universe. The Earth planet is situated in the middle planetary system, and the comparison to the entire universe, it's this insignificant as speak of a duck, and yet this speak of a duck, there are 7 continents. And Prabhupada continued to explain, directing Tamal Krishna's attention to the painting. And out of these different continents, there is America, and even within America, there are so many cities, and one of the cities is Los Angeles, and so there is a Los Angeles. Also, there is so many places, and then out of them, one of them is our temple, and in this temple there is one Tamal Krishna, and he is thinking that he is very, very important. And Tamal Krishna Prabhu was, surprised, saying Prabhupada. He looked at him and simply smiled. So Prabhupada wanted to make sure that Tamal Krishna Prabhu should not get popped up, but he told him when he was alone in the room. Okay, now Prabhupada suggested Govinda Dasi Mataji to go to her husband who was there in Hawaii. And she wanted to stay with Prabhupada as a secretary, and but Prabhupada wanted her to go to with her husband who was establishing temple in Hawaii. And so Tamal Krishna Prabhu was saying, you had better mail this, don't give it to Govinda Dasi Mataji. She may refuse to marry it. So Govinda Dasi wanted to stay with Prabhupada, but you must live with your husband. That will make you happy, and you will never be happy staying aloof from your husband. You must go together. So after weeks of procrastination, Govinda Dasi Mataji was reluctantly left her service and went to join her husband. Already, because of her going, it was inconvenienced Prabhupada further, because they lost their trained secretary, but he wanted new center to be established in Hawaii. So rendering personal service as a secretary or servant was not very important function. That's what Prabhupada thinks. So Prabhupada was giving in more important from to the Krishna conscious movement, to more more than him. So there, Upendra Prabhu received a prison sentence for a previous drug something conviction few years ago, before he had joined the movement, and first sentence was 3 months, but then it was reduced to 1 month, and it in the county jail. So when the day he was leaving, Upendra Prabhu packed his bag and went in to say goodbye to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said, oh, you are going now? And he said, yes, Prabhupada. And he said, Prabhupada, will you please chant one round with me? And Prabhupada said, I always chant with you. And hearing that, Upendra Prabhu started crying, and Prabhupada was patting his back, and he said, no, don't be afraid. It is Krishna's mercy. They will think you are a pious boy and let you go. And after a few days, you go now and chant Hare Krishna and be happy. So at this time Prabhupada began to Upendra Prabhu, speak to Upendra Prabhu and about preaching in Australia. So after the 10 days, means he had the jail for 3 months, but they reduced it for 1 month. And once he went to jail, they said left him home for in 10 days. After coming by 10 days, Prabhupada again was talking to Upendra Prabhu about spreading Krishna consciousness in Australia, and a devotee in New York had written to Prabhupada about starting center in Australia, and Prabhupada was sending Upendra Prabhu to Australia. And but Upendra Prabhu said, I like to do cooking, but Prabhupada said, oh, anyone can cook, and you were doing better service in Seattle also. You are not. But Prabhupada said, no. Upendra Prabhu said, are you joking, Prabhupada? And he said, no, I am not joking. So thus Prabhupada gradually depleted his own personal staff who was with him in different places. And one such pleasant day had been the downtown chanting party. Another was full-scale deity worship in the temple. It was in Los Angeles. At this time, the devotees began to full day's schedule of Aarti, offering prasadam to deities, just as in the great Vaishnava temple in India. And Jiva Goswami, a great scholar as follower of Lord Chaitanya's teachings, had written that although chanting Hare Krishna was sufficient in itself for going back to Godhead, because people in the present age are restless, they should also worship the deities for purification. Since the deity worship involves singing, dressing, deities, decoration, cleaning, and altar and cooking for the deities, Prabhupada turned to the women disciples who seemed particularly inclined to that. And one of them was the Shilavati, and she was actually older than other girls, and she had two children, and she joined the movement. When Prabhupada saw her eagerness to help establishing in the worship, he asked her to come to his apartment, where he explained her the system of worshipping the deities, and with 6 daily aartis. So first aarti, Mangal aarti, should be done 1.5 hours before sunrise, but the deities must be first awakened and then offer milk, sweet, fruit, and then aarti, and consequently offered. So aarti should be like, first burning insects, and then camphor or the gibbix and the water in the conch shell, and then clean handkerchief and fragrant flower, and yaktel means the chamara and the peacock feather. And the devotee offering the articles was is called pujari. The pujari would ring the bell and his left hand while offering the object in the right hand, moving like that in the clockwise direction. So Prabhupada has to explain everything to his disciple, and after Mangalarti, the whatever we offer bhoga to deities, we will take prasadam as remnant of the offering should take prasadam after Bhagavatam class. And then another arti performed in the afternoon, which is devotee take remunerate for the lunch. And then there are 3 other artis like 4 o'clock in the afternoon and 7 p.m. in the evening and in the night, and then deities go to rest. So understanding that deity is usually the Lord and the proprietor of the temple, the devotee should serve him just like a king in the palace. And by doing this, the devotees would naturally increase their Krishna consciousness, but it had to be done with enthusiasm. Prabhupada continued that if enthusiasm is not there, then it becomes the idol worships. After being instructed by Srila Prabhupada, Shilavati Mataji returned to the temple, prepared for the new worship. And the next Sunday, when Prabhupada visited the temple, he stood and watched Shilavati offering Aarti. Afterwards, when Shilavati joined the other devotees, the Prabhupada's room, Prabhupada greeted her by saying, "Now we will have Aarti." And Shilavati said, "Prabhupada, we just now did." And she said, "Was not good?" And Prabhupada said, "No, it wasn't. And it wasn't good." And Prabhupada was asking one item, and so Prabhupada said, "I want camphor." And the devotee said, "What's the camphor?" And some devotees ran out to buy camphor. And Prabhupada said, "I want flowers." And Prabhupada said, "I want incense." So like that, all the paraphernalia came together. And as Prabhupada standing before the altar directed the devotees to bring him each item, and when everything was finally assembled, Prabhupada demonstrated how Aarti should be done. And then again he turned over the Shilavati, and he had shown them, and now they should continue with enthusiasm. Prabhupada first introduced the festival and spiritual observance for the holidays and Vaishnava calendar. The devotees in Los Angeles were delighted. They would plan many of the Sunday festival around and particular events. A butter churning festival, commentary, Krishna's activities, cowherd boy, celebrating Govardhan Puja, and Krishna's pastime, lifting up the Govardhan hill, and festival observed appearance of Lord Ram and Nrsimhadev. These were now not new idea for Prabhupada, but now for the first time he had facility and enthusiastic helpers in implement. In February, on appearance day of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada came to the temple and cooked by himself the potato and cauliflower and sweet rice and halwa and puris, and while the devotees crowded in the doorway watching Prabhupada doing, and Prabhupada cooked with silent concentration and cleaning the stove and sink and after each step. So one day, Shilavati Mataji discovered a bud on the 108 rose bushes. So they planted the 100 rose bushes, but flowers were not there yet. But now the spring has come and the flowers has grown on the bushes, and she excitedly called everybody and to show that the bushes has bloomed the flowers and we can offer it to deity, and Prabhupada will be very pleased. So Shilavati said, Jayananda Prabhu planted 100 and wrote bushes, and we were all very anxious for the bushes of bloom. One day I found a little rose bud and I was really excited. It was a yellow rose. I knew from but that is the bush was going to be yellow and have particular fragrance like that flower. I felt that way about our temple. Maybe there were other temples that were bigger than the grander, but the essence of Srila Prabhupada's visions was expressed in that temple. Just like with the rose bush, you could tell the color and aroma of the flower on the bush. And so from that temple, we could derive the essence of movement that went on there. So Prabhupada had the little difficulty for his visa problem. So finally, Prabhupada got the visa for the United States. And now Prabhupada can go anywhere. So finally, the devotees were devotees were not so happy that Prabhupada was leaving the temple, and Brahmananda Prabhu said, "We all went." When Prabhupada was going to the airport, Brahmananda Prabhu said, we all went to airport to see Prabhupada off, and Prabhupada was waiting for the plane, and then it was time to leave. He was with the new servant, Purushottama Prabhu and Kartikeya Prabhu, and we were all chanting and crying, and Prabhupada looked so bright as he walked down that little tunnel. He turned and waved, and then he just turned onto the plane. He was crying. We all were crying, and they were singing, "I have been looking for my spiritual master for so long, and now that I have finally found, and he is leaving now, and I will never see him again." Then the plane took off, and we were all crying and looking out of window and looking towards window and the terminal building, and until the last speak. Just like when Krishna left Gopi's and went to Mathura, we kept looking until the last speck of the airplane. So thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Prabhupada Lilamrta ki jai.
Our Grace Shyamagauri Mataji ki jai. Very wonderful Mataji, very sweet narration.
Thank you.
Very sweet narration. And singing a bhajan is nice, Mataji, but only a little bit disturbance we got breaking in between. But everything went very well, Mataji. And especially I liked the Jagannath slide, Mataji. Those are very beautiful. The slide is very beautiful, Mataji. And reminding everything is very, very nice, Mataji. And your way of explaining is also very sweet, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji, for taking your time and giving this 61st chapter summary, Mataji. Very beautiful. So, dear devotees.
Thank you, Mataji, and please forgive me, all the devotees, if I made any mistake or I said anything wrong. I am not good at speaking, but I am trying all my best. And I am learning from all of you. I know all the devotees on the call, they are really, so senior to me, but still they gave chance to me. Thank you so much.
Your sincerity covered all your things, Mataji. There is nothing mistakes or anything. Your sincere efforts, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Dear devotees, so who would like to share their realizations for Mataji's summary today?
Hare Krishna, Shyamagauri Mataji. Thank you so much for such a sweet, very, very sweet nectarian narration of Srila Prabhupada's pastimes. It was very meditative. Thank you for you put in so much efforts to make the slides and also speak on each of these slides in grand detail. I really appreciate the way you covered how Prabhupada gives so much importance to his books. And even to this day, we are reaping the benefits. And how he was so particular that every chapter would have at least one or two pictures of Krishna's pastimes and all the little details, and his interactions with all the devotees that you mentioned were very, very beautiful, Mataji. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on the call and taking up this huge chapter and condensing it so beautifully and presenting it to us. Very grateful for your association, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for your sweet words. Yes, Srila Prabhupada was so much, enthusiastic to write his books. When he says, I am an old man, but when he starts writing, he doesn't write like an old man. He's so enthusiastic. He wakes up at 1 o'clock in the night and then he starts writing. We cannot even imagine, and he was doing at the age of 70. So we should really appreciate and, very, very grateful to Srila Prabhupada.
Very well, so nice.
Vinita Gandarika Mataji, please go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Shyamagauri Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. What a beautiful class, Mataji. Thank you so much. You said that you cannot speak. You are speaking so nicely, Mataji. Such a beautiful summary. You gave before also one class. So that time I was in India. I could not attend that class. But this class is so nice. On Lilamrta you have given, I think on December 2nd, if I remember the date correct. It is very, very nice class, Mataji. I really like all the points that you share, how Srila Prabhupada was so much, so much in pain that he wants to give Krishna to everyone. He wants a temple. He wants so that it can reach to many people. Even though he is not worried about if somebody is coming or not coming. Okay, if nobody is there, let's have prasadam. So that's very, very nice.
Yes.
Very nice pastimes, Mataji. So beautiful. I really loved the whole chapter. Thank you so much for your sweet association. Thank you for accepting it. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, means Prabhupada said nothing is failure in Krishna consciousness. Whatever it's there, it's good. We are always successful in Krishna consciousness.
Yes, very nice, Mataji.
Prabhupada. That we can see from Srila Prabhupada and his disciples. They are always successful. That idea should come into their mind. That's it. They will do it. They have that much of potency. And today I was listening to my Guru Maharaj's lecture, and he was telling that, so if we are able to follow our previous Acharya's instructions as it is, that's it. The success is automatic. We will definitely get the success. That is how we can know that whether we are following it properly or not. If we are not able to get the success, that means we are somewhere missing the Acharya's, the rules and regulations that they're given, and we are not able to follow that. That's why we are not able to get the success. If you able to follow that, you'll automatically get the success. And that is very nice. We can see Srila Prabhupada how nicely following his spiritual master's order. Always write a book, publish the book, write a book, publish a book. So it's very nice, Mataji. Very beautiful class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat pranams. Such beautiful slides, Mataji, you made. You put so much effort, and the slides themselves were, so inviting, and wanted to listen more from you, Mataji, and with your sweet voice also. It was very nice, Mataji. I couldn't attend like the first few minutes, but then I logged in. So thanks so much for the nectar, Mataji.
My voice is not sweet, Mataji. Yours is sweet.
Oh, Mataji, after my
so nicely. I sing as a service. Nothing too good with my voice. It's not good.
No, Mataji, it's very nice, Mataji. Mataji, I was wondering if the devotees are okay and organizers are okay. I know we are a little late on time, but would it be okay to sing a bhajan on Advaita Acharya because it's his appearance day?
Jai Ho Mataji, Jai Jai Nityananda, Jai Jai Gauranga, Jai Jai Advaita Acharya ki Jai.
Mataji, you can sing.
Yes, Mataji, you sing.
Vikusagari Mataji, you sing please, because your voice is so sweet. I don't want to,
Oh no, Mataji, your devotion is more than whatever my voice or whatever that is. Give me 1 second, Mataji. I'll just share the link of. I just saw one bhajan which was kind of very nice.
Lalitangi Mataji wanted to say something.
Hare Krishna Mataji, wonderful, wonderful class, so nice pastimes, and you took us there. So many, so much meticulous dealings of Prabhupada with the devotees and how he's pushing for the temple, pushing for book distribution, and I was thinking like we have to also do more and more for Prabhupada. We don't know how long we are going to live, but yeah, that was my takeaway from this, that we have to put more efforts and try to serve him. Thank you, Mataji, for your very nice class, narration, and beautiful slides and pictures, old pictures. Very nice, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji, for your sweet words. And in front of you, I am nothing. I'm just trying. I'm learning from you, Mataji.
That's your humility, Mataji. We are all learning from you. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, if there are no more comments, or then you can sing all of it and sing the bhajan.
Which bhajan should we sing, Mataji?
I shared with Vinita. I asked her if she can share. She said yes.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping.
I'm sharing, Mataji.
You can share on the screen, Mataji.
Yeah, it's by Lochan Das Thakura on Advaita Acharya. So I thought it will be nice to glorify him.
Yeah, I'm sharing it, Mataji. Give me a second.
Yeah, please. Sorry to. I don't mean to rush in it. Vinita, can you show the translations? Maybe we can start with translation. Yeah. Anybody wants to read, please go ahead.
Can I read, Mataji?
Yeah, sure. Like we can take turns. Yeah, whoever wants to read for each of the translations.
1. Hail, all hail to the preceptor Advaita, full of mercy, whose pealing roar invoked the avatar of Gaura.
Anybody
Giver
else?
of Prema, Lord of Sita, ocean of compassion, whose Prema Rasa brought Gaur Chandra.
Whoever receives his mercy, on whom he bestowed his kind glance, that blessed on one comes immersed in prema and sees the divine excellence of Gaura.
Whoever sought refuge at his feet, that same acquired the greatest wealth of Gaura Prem. Lochana says, why repository of bounding grace? By what I have bought a thunderbolt upon my own head. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Now we can start with the bhajan. I don't know if you all also want to follow on afterwards. Please unmute and follow on, so we can all glorify together. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhupada,
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Nitai
Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jaya Jaya Advaita Acharya Doyamo
जय जय अद्वैत आचार्य दयामो
जय जय अद्वैता आचार्य दयामो
जय जय अद्वैत आचार्य दयामो
जरा हुकार गुरु आत्माकार हो
जय हो जरा हुंकारे गौरा अद्वैता रहोय
जहाँ हुकार गुरु
जय हो जहाँ हूँ करे
Mataji, your voice is not coming.
अद्वैता रहोय
Can you hear now?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, maybe I'll not do the kartal, it's taking over. Premadata Sita Natha Karuna Sagar
जय हो प्रेमदाता सीतानाथ करुणासागर
Premadata Sita Natha Karuna
अबे मैंने भजन गावा दे
Premadaata
सीतानाथ करुणासागर
जरा प्रेम रासेला
जय हो
गौरांग सुंदर
जरा प्रेम सारे गौरांग
जरा प्रेम रासेला गौरांग सुंदर
जरा प्रेम रासेला गौरांग सुंदर
जहारे करुणा करी कृपा दिथे चार
जहारे करुणा कृपा पादिते
जहारे करुणा करी कृपा दिथे चार
जय हो जहारे करुणा करी कृपा दिते चार
प्रेमाविशेषे जना चैतन्य गुण गाय
प्रेमावास से जाना चैतन्य गुण गाय
प्रेमाविशेषे जना चैतन्य गुण गाय
प्रेमावास से जाना चैतन्य गुण गाय
ताहारा चरणे जेबा लैला शरण
जय श्री प्रभुपाद तारा चरणे जीवा लैला शरण
ताहारा चरणे जेबा
जय श्री प्रभुपाद
लैला शरण
ताहारे चरणे जीवा
लैला शरणा ते जना पाईला गोरा प्रेम महाधना
जय जन पाईला गौरा
प्रेम
माधवाना
ते जन पाईला गोरा प्रेम महाधना
ते जन पाईला गौरा
प्रेम महादाना. जय अद्वैताचार्य. हे माना दया रानी, हे माना दया रानी, केने ना बजिलु ना. हे माना दया
Emana
दया रानिधि केने ना बजुलु ना. लोचना बलेनी जामा सेवा जार पारिनु. लोचना बलेनी जा माथे ब्रज पारिनु. लोचना बलेनी जा माथे ब्रज पारिनु. लोचना बलेनी जमा ते ब्रजर पालिनु. जय श्री अद्वैत आचार्य की जय. जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय. जय सुखेश्वरी माता जी की जय. दंडवत प्रणाम माता जी. हरे कृष्णा.
Very, very nice
Beautiful,
song.
beautiful, Mataji. Thank you so much. Wonderful.
Mataji. Very nice bhajan.
Mataji, it's the devotion in your class, Mataji. It's inspiring.
Mataji, when are you going to give a class again? It was so much fun listening to your voice. It was like listening to a koel's voice in Vrindavan.
Deep devotional association, get Mataji. Thank you, Eti Shyamagauri, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Gopinath ki jai. Mataji, I hear Eti Amendra Prabhu when we went, Srila Gurudev came in Baltimore Dham. That time he's given a lecture in front of Shri Radha Madhav. He said that nobody is senior and junior, and we have to understand that we are not qualified to give a class. It's the mercy of Shri Nityananda, Sisi Gauranga, and the mercy of our Acharyagan, Six Goswami, and our Srila Prabhupada. We can speak. They are dancing in our terms. Srimati Shri Radharani, Srimati Shri Sita Rani, Srila Prabhupada. By the mercy of our Acharyagan, we can qualify to do seva, whatever it's a preaching or cooking or book distribution or dressing Shri Radha Mata or Shri Radha Gopinath. It's the mercy of Srimati Shri Radha Rani Mata जी. बहुत सारी चीजें माता जी. जब हम खुद श्रील प्रभुपाद अमृता, मेरी बात करती हूँ, मैं ऐसी हूँ बहुत छोटी कीड़ी के पैर जितनी. जब हम खुद रीड करते हैं ना माता जी, तो बहुत सारे पॉइंट याद नहीं रहते. बट व्हेन वी हियर फ्रॉम प्योर वैष्णवा माता जी, और आपने बहुत अच्छी पीपीटी बनाई थी माता जी, तो वो समझ में आता है. और वो पिक्चर की तरह क्वालिफाइड तो नहीं है एंटर होना कोई भी लीला में माता जी, पर हम देख सकते हैं, विजुलाइज कर सकते हैं, फील कर सकते हैं. नॉट ओनली मी, ऑल वैष्णवा में भी फील. वो डूब गए थे अमृतवाणी में. श्रील प्रभुपाद, श्रील गुरुदेव की जय, गोपीनाथ की जय. जय जय नित्यानंद, जय जय गौरांग. थैंक यू श्यामागौरी. हरे कृष्णा.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Vrinda Gopika Mataji.
Okay, Mataji. So if there are no more realizations for Mataji's class, so Shyamagauri Mataji, shall we end, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
And thank you, Ajji Sukheswari Mataji. Koti Koti Dandvat Pranam. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Sai Mata.
Sukhsagari Mataji ki
Jai
jai.
Sukhsagari Mataji ki jai. Shri Shri
Jai. Thank you,
Advaitacharya ki
Mataji.
jai.
Jai.
Thank you, Mataji. So, Mataji, with this, I would like to pay
All
my
glories to
obeisances
Shri
to
Guru
you and all the devotees on the call. So, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai,
Vrinda ki
Ramanand
jai.
Vikas
Srila
Thakur ki jai,
Prabhupada ki
Srila
jai.
Prabhupada ki
Jai.
jai,
Bhakt ki jai.
Lilamrta ki
Ma
jai,
ki jai.
High
Jai.
Grace Shyamagauri
Shri
Mataji ki
Mataji ki
jai.
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 Sukhsagari
Thank
Mataji
you,
Jai. Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.